Did you know that the CEO of SpaceX slept on the office floor? That's right. This man who's now worth billions used to sleep on the office floor, and this is how he did it. When Elon Musk first started SpaceX, he wanted to revolutionize space travel. But in order to do that, he needed money. A lot of money. He didn't have any investors lined up yet, so he had to make do with what he had. So when he was starting out, he slept in his office. Not in some luxurious room with a soft bed, but on the cold, hard floor. It wasn't easy, but he was determined to make his dream of exploring Mars a reality. But why does he want to go to Mars so badly? Well, it all started when he was just a kid. One day, young Elon was watching TV and saw a documentary about the solar system. He was mesmerized by the images of faraway planets and moons. It was like nothing he had ever seen before. And that's when it hit him. He wanted to go to Mars. From that moment on, Elon was obsessed with the idea of exploring the red planet. He devoured books and magazines about space travel and learned everything he could about rocket science. But it wasn't enough for him. He wanted more. He wanted to be the one to make humanity a multiplanetary species. But in order to do that, he knew he needed help. So he reached out to his friend Peter Thiel. Peter was a fellow tech genius, and he was just the person Elon needed. Together, they formed a company called the SpaceX Corporation with the goal of making life multiplanetary. But the road to success is never easy, and the two friends soon realized that they were in over their heads. They needed money, a lot of money to fund their research and development. And where were they going to get that kind of money? Well, from investors, of course. Elon and Peter went out to find investors who believed in their vision. But it wasn't easy. Most investors thought that their idea was just too crazy to work. But eventually they found a few investors who were willing to take a chance on them. With the money, they rented a small office and got to work. But they quickly realized that they had a problem. They didn't have enough money to pay rent, electricity, or even buy supplies. It was a tough situation, but Elon and Peter were determined to make it work. So they did whatever they had to do, and that meant sleeping on the office floor. It wasn't easy. They were determined to make their dream a reality. They worked long and hard days, often putting in 12 or 14-hour shifts. But they didn't mind because they were so passionate about what they were doing. Meanwhile, Elon Musk made frequent trips to the bank to check on the company's finances. He was constantly worried about whether or not they had enough money to keep the company afloat. But he knew that he couldn't afford to let his employees see him panicking, so he put on a brave face and pushed forward. But the truth is, he was really struggling. He was desperate for a breakthrough, something that would make people take notice of SpaceX and invest in their company. And then it hit him. Why not try to win a contract from NASA? It was a long shot, but it was their only hope. So Elon put together a proposal and sent it off to NASA. He didn't think much of it and got back to work. But then a few weeks later, he got a call from NASA. They had reviewed his proposal and wanted to move forward with it. It was a dream come true for Elon. He had finally gotten the recognition and funding he had been looking for. But he knew that this was just the beginning. He still had a long way to go if he wanted to make his dream of exploring Mars a reality. But he was determined to make it happen. With the new funding from NASA, Elon was able to hire more staff and expand his facilities. He was finally able to create the rockets and spacecraft that he had been dreaming of. But it wasn't easy. There were setbacks and failures along the way, but Elon never gave up. He knew that if he wanted to achieve greatness, he had to be willing to fail and learn from his mistakes. With each failure, he came back stronger and more determined than ever. And then it happened. One of his rockets successfully reached orbit. It was a moment of pure joy for Elon. He had finally achieved his dream of making humanity a multiplanetary species. But he wasn't done yet. He knew that there was still so much more to explore. So he set his sights on Mars. He knew that it would be a long and difficult journey, but he was ready for it. With the success of SpaceX, Elon was able to secure more funding. He was now a multi-billionaire, and he was just getting started. He had proved that his idea wasn't crazy after all. In fact, it was brilliant. And now, everyone wanted a piece of the pie. But Elon wasn't interested in making more money. He had already achieved that. Now he wanted to make history. So he assembled a team of the brightest minds in the industry and got to work. They designed the most advanced rockets and spacecraft ever seen, and then they started to build them. It was a monumental task, but Elon wasn't afraid of hard work. In fact, he thrived on it. He He'd put in 18-hour days, 7-day weeks, and never took a break. He was too busy making history. His team worked tirelessly to make his dream a reality. They were just as passionate about exploring Mars as he was. And together, they accomplished the impossible. They built rockets that could carry humans to Mars and back again safely. They also developed spacecraft that could land on Mars and explore its surface. Then it happened. The first human mission to Mars was launched. It was a historic moment for humanity. The first time in history humans were leaving Earth and traveling to another planet. And it was all thanks to Elon's hard work and determination. As the rocket took off into space, Elon couldn't help but smile. He had finally achieved his dream. But he knew that this was just the beginning. There was still so much more to explore on Mars. So he started planning the next mission. And so the cycle continued. Each mission was more ambitious than the last. And with each mission, Elon came closer to his ultimate goal of making humanity a multiplanetary species. Today, Elon's company is a household name. People around the world know and admire his work. He has changed the future of space exploration and has inspired a new generation of scientists and engineers. But despite all the success he has achieved, Elon is still down to earth. He remembers the struggles he faced in the early days of SpaceX and is grateful for every success. He knows that without hard work, dedication, and a refusal to give up, none of this would have been possible. So if you're ever feeling down or like you've achieved greatness, just remember the story of Elon Musk, the poor boy who dared to dream big and change the world. Now check out this video. Why Jeff Bezos will never beat Elon Musk. Or take a look at this video instead. You might like it.